Hey guys, my name is G and you're watching Keeping This Tech. And today's video is all about the brand new iMacs. I gotta be honest with you, man. I am hella impressed with what Apple has done with the redesign. These things have the M1 chip in there. Woo! So today we're gonna buy one online. Not really, but we're gonna go ahead and go through the process as if we're buying one, and I'm gonna configure the one that I'd be getting if I were getting it. But I'll also talk about the different components and different parts and different configurations for different types of users too. So if you're in the market for an iMac, you're looking to figure out which one you want to get, hopefully this video will help you out. Well, we can't talk about the iMac without talking about the colors, because holy cow, man, the colors. We got colors. Apple did it, guys, and I love it. I love the fact that there are colors on here. Man, oh man. But I will say this, at least for me personally, I'm not a big fan of the super light colors in the front for myself. That's just me. That's just the way it is. Like, look at this blue. This blue looks so dope. But then that front has that powder baby blue thing going on. I can't do it. Oh man. I wouldn't even mind if the whole thing was that solid blue and just the stand was a light blue, you know? But look at this teal. This is green, but it looks teal to me. I mean, this is fire, dude. That's this front though. I know it sounds ironic, but I'm gonna go with the silver, and that's because, you know, silver is that classic Mac look. So I'm gonna be the boring guy and get a silver iMac, but that's okay. Basically, as you're purchasing it, you have 3 columns. You just have to choose your color, and it's interesting that the base model only comes with 4 color options. The other color options are behind a paywall, if you will. It must cost a lot more money to make purple or something, maybe. Either way, you got 7-core GPU, and that's the difference between the CPUs here. All the M1s are pretty much the same except for this. And what is the GPU for? Well, the GPU is responsible for things like video editing or graphical playback, anything with graphics. So, you know, editing photos or watching, playing video games, I should say, is all gonna be impacted by your GPU or lack thereof, right? So if you know that you're gonna be doing video editing, photo editing with your iMac, then you definitely want to get a better GPU option, which would be the next step up. But there's a little bit more than that too. It looks like the next step up gives you 2 USB ports and a gigabit Ethernet with Touch ID on your Magic Keyboard. So it's not just the GPU that's the difference there, it's the whole suite of things. Plus, if you want that color purple, then you gotta spend that cash, you know what I'm saying? Gotta upgrade. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the silver. And once you get past this point here, you're pretty much looking at the configurations being the difference in price, right? The RAM and the storage and things like that. So let's get back to that base model real quick. That 8-core, 7-core GPU, basically, if you're going to be doing very simple tasks like watching YouTube videos, Netflix, you know, some Office here and there, you know, checking your email, all that stuff, you'll be perfectly fine with this. I think that if you are going to be doing photo editing, video editing, stuff like that, then you definitely want to go ahead and spend a little bit more money on the GPU. And also for those type of tasks, you also want to think about RAM and storage. And the best way I like to think about this is think about storage like a cabinet. This is where you store all of your canned goods and everything. Everything is in that cabinet. However, if you're about to make a meal, you're going to take out all of the ingredients that you need and you're going to put them where? On the countertop. And the countertop is what I would, you know, compare to with what we're talking about RAM. And so RAM is really all the stuff that you're using right now, taking up the space in gigs, right? In that unit of measurement. And so if you're going to be doing a lot of intensive work with multiple apps running in the background, it's better to have more RAM. I will say this about the M1, it's such an amazing system that, you know, you can get away with using 8 gigs of RAM on a task that would on an Intel Mac require you to use 16 gigs of RAM. You know, it performs better in that way. And because Apple is controlling the hardware, the software, and the chip now, the efficiency and the optimization is through the roof. I mean, with the M1, Apple has basically killed Intel. And I hate to say that, I don't want to make anybody feel bad that has an Intel computer, but I mean, the days of Intel are numbered, and it's a slow death, but it's a death nonetheless. That is true. Okay, but anyway, let's not get too sad about Intel. Let's get excited about M1 and what that actually means, right? Especially for you if you're looking to upgrade or getting your first M1 computer. This is all good. So I guess the difference here back to the configuration is only really the storage, right? Which is that cabinet analogy, right? So the more storage you have, the better. For me, for video editing, I have to go a little higher than 512. And to prove my point here, the difference between 56 and 512 is $200. If I were to select the middle one here and go and choose 512, then you'll see it's exactly the same price. There's no difference in cost there. But I'm going to end up choosing 1 terabyte because I do a lot of video and I do a lot of photo editing. 1 terabyte is really like my 256 for the use case that I'm using. But again, if you're doing light tasks and regular things, you shouldn't be having a problem with the 256. And they have great third-party options third-party options for external hard drives that'll get you going. So you don't have to spend all this money on Apple. But it's really important to also think about this too. These things that we're changing around cannot be upgraded after the fact. It used to be that you can go in and upgrade your RAM and get new hard drives to, internal hard drive. You can't do any of that anymore. Whatever you get is what you get. So in many ways, you got to look at these purchases as like what you would need to have in the future. Like if you know that you're going to get into photo editing eventually or video editing, I keep on bringing those up because those are the process intensive apps. Those are the programs that use a lot of these extra features, if you will. And then you definitely want to go ahead and be future minded or forward thinking, if you will, about this configuration. All right, so I'm not going to do any of this stuff. I don't really care about the Magic Mouse, the trackpad. I'm good. I use Logitech for all my stuff. I'll leave those links in the description if you want to see what those are. And then you can get pre-installed software. I'm actually thinking about getting Logic Pro because I'm going to start podcasting. So if I were picking up this Mac, I would probably order it with Logic Pro. And there you have it. Let's see here. Let's add it to the bag. We're looking at $2,300 for this. And I think it's actually a little bit more, guys, because I'm going to go ahead and add Apple Care. Now, you don't have to add Apple Care right away. I believe you have 60 days to add Apple Care from your date of purchase. But as reliable as Apple gear typically is, when it breaks down, and they are awesome if you have Apple Care. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what's up. So let's go ahead and review the bag. Great. Now, if I've missed anything or if you have any questions about what we've talked about today, make sure to leave me a comment below. I'd love to go ahead and have that conversation with you guys. And if this takes off and there's enough questions, we can even do a Q&A or something like that. But guys, congratulations and good luck with your brand new iMac.